Are you ready for some good news? Although addiction is complex and powerful, the gospel, in all of its simplicity, is more powerful. The grace of God uproots the shame that lies beneath our addictions. The gospel sets us free. Here's our text in Romans chapter 7 at verse 15. Paul writes, "For I do not understand my own actions, for I do not do what I want, but the very thing I hate." Years ago, a ministry candidate was appearing before our denominational governing body, which we call the presbytery. And the first step towards ordination in our denomination is sharing one's personal faith story. I'll never forget this ordination candidate named Howard. Howard spoke with an intellectual tone like this. He was very serious in demeanor, but he also carried this deeply dry wit underneath his academic, well-enunciated words. Here's an exact quote from Howard's testimony before Presbytery. He said, "I grew up in a Jewish home. My mother wanted me to be a doctor. My father wanted me to be a lawyer. But I took a different path and chose to become a drug addict instead." Well, I couldn't stop laughing the rest of the day. What was so hilarious about Howard's ridiculous statement? It was funny because it's so nonsensical, right? No one chooses to be a drug addict, right? Or is it just the opposite? Every drug addict is one because he or she made those choices. See, Howard, in one ridiculous sentence, had summed up the deep irony of addiction, and all besetting sin for that matter. On the one hand, no one in his right mind would choose a path of destruction like addiction. But on the other hand, everyone has choices, and the addict has indeed chosen his or her path in life. Well, that's what Paul describes in Romans 7. On the one hand, Paul says of his sin nature, "I absolutely hate the wrong that I'm attracted to." But on the other hand, he says, "I'm irretrievably drawn to the destructive sin." Addiction's complicated. Issues of genetics, shame-based upbringing, chemical reactions in the body, physical tolerance, loss of willpower, all play into the dynamics of addiction. On the other hand, it's a simple matter. We have a fierce temptation to look for momentary relief from the gnawing anxiety in our souls. It's wrong and somewhat cruel to make light or oversimplify the nature of addiction. But it's equally wrong to think that the ultimate solution is anything other than or greater than the power of the gospel. When we truly, deeply encounter the good news of God's grace, we discover ourselves fully, finally, totally accepted. The grace of God heals the shame of our souls. And once the shame melts away, the anxiety that accompanies the condemnation lifts. When anxiety disappears, the need for substances or activities to mask our pain lessens, and addiction can be broken. It's that simple. And that's the gospel. Well, that is today's daily devotional, and you can click here and get more like it, or better yet, subscribe to this channel, get them all, and I hope that you have a great day.